Hey guys, I had a couple of people remind me of resources we haven't thought of in a very long time, but now we can master these so well. It's really a great idea, and I love this. So, on the one hand, there's Commission Junction. I can think of them. There's some other ones out there. Another guy let me know of Offer Vault. He's diving in that way. And I just saw, okay, let me take a look. I went to Commission Junction to log back in, but my account's so old, right? Years and years since I've been there, like a decade. And then I went to Offer Vault to take a look at that. And so let me just show you what's happening there and then tie it all together. So if you come to Offer Vault, right, and you're an advertiser and you want to get paid, you can get paid for this, pay per call offers. In other words, if we build a website, we put a phone number on there, and we say, call now, and somebody calls the number, and they're the right kind of guy, then you get paid for that right away, okay? That's like what we do anyway when we offer leads to companies and stuff, but do you know what? These guys already have that end of the deal down. They have all the technology in place, tracking the calls, recording the calls, sending the invoices, knowing how to credit them back for, if somebody called for pizza because they missed out, all that kind of thing. Let's take a look at this. So if I go to the pay-per-call offer section of offervault.com, I can sort by the payouts, okay? And I can sort low, or I can click it again to sort high, okay? Now if I come in here high, guess what you're going to see as being like the highest stuff? Mass tort, for a certain reason, legal, lawyer, stuff like that, right? Addiction and health, right? Pay-per-call home services, foreclosure defense, auto accident attorney, long distance moving. There's a lot, man. There's, what else? Water damage, okay? Insurance, home services. Talcum powder? Interesting. That's short for that. Anyway, it goes on and on and on and on. Go to page 2, go to page 3, go to page 4, right? Now let me do some fast math. I want to make this point really, really clear. Say we're coming in with water damage, okay? So you can look up areas in the U.S. how quickly, that have water damage issues, and choose something that has seasonal water damage issues, or they just get a lot of water damage over the course of time. A lot of flooding happens there, right? There's a lot of flooding in the U.S. these days in a lot of places, and companies can't keep up with all the demand. So when you're talking about companies here that can do it, so you just look to see, make sure that you're creating a project that operates in their area. Some guys are local only. They're like only Alabama, or something, or only one major metro area like Birmingham, Alabama, right? So just make sure you kind of read through it and that this stuff makes sense, and they say it's okay to create a website. We're not going to say that the website belongs to some other company. We're not going to incentivize people to call. We're not going to give them some kind of a bonus for calling. We're not going to try to get the lack of interest people to call. No, because these guys, they just simply want real calls, right? We can do that in the biggest of ways. We're not going to blast emails or outbound call centers or SMS or anything else. We're just going to do our own job of showing up for search with the right kind of general purpose website that gets people to call in. We can't even really name a company because it's not always the same company necessarily that answers the phone. Okay? Some of these guys are co-oping. So what do? Our job, right? So we just simply follow their rules and make sure that we run the project according to that. Now, having said that, there's a couple of ways to get involved in this sort of thing, because now let's do the math. This is pretty wild. If it's $300 a lead for flooding, okay, we've got a couple of ways we can get into this, okay? One is cheaper. You might get a website and then do the super affiliate sites thing to back it up with backlinks and multiple other websites to back you up, right? Or you just come in here and go ahead and set up a subscription at least the $250 a month. And we'll be able to get you a 5-page website the first month, and then with your next payment, we'll start creating backlinks to it. But if you come in here at $500 a month, your first month will create a 50-page website for you. It'll actually be 55 pages. And so it'll cover more cities because it'll be 5 pages for this city. Like in this case, this will be for one city, 5 pages for one city, if it's city based at all. The flooding thing should be, okay? It's like if you're in this area and you're getting hit by a flood. So yeah, it's, metro area based, I should say, the greater metro area of the city. This gives you 11 cities. It gives you a stack of 5 pages plus the 10 subdomains. So it's literally 11 cities for the price of 2. Okay? Valuable. And then when we do the backlinking, that's great because we're backlinking through all those cities with more websites. How's that? Okay? So this gives you stuff to work on at the low end and build up, and that's great. And you're going to get where you're going. For those of you who want to come in hot and heavy, high and hard, and you want a guarantee from us, in other words, you want us to be required to take on the responsibility for you, let's try something like that. Water and fire damage restoration. Let's say Alabama. I've been using that. I'm not even sure if Alabama's the right idea. Okay? This is expensive by comparison, but let's do the math. So $65.86, and we're required to pay you a certain amount in a year, or we have to keep working to get you a certain amount over that in a year. Right now, our projects are aiming for anywhere from 3 to 6 times over per year, but that was based on what we had. What we're doing now, we can probably raise that, and yes, that'll be inclusive for the guys who bought in recently. We just stumbled upon a better way to create content and a way to let the websites reorganize themselves for better conversions, and we are totally focused now on what it takes to get the job done, like call this number, okay? So, is that expensive when you're talking about $300 payouts for the water damage thing? Where was that? Oh, now it's all over the board. Let's get back to this. Water damage, flood damage in the neighborhood of $300. There were a few of these, so I'm just going to use this example. I mean, obviously, just do the due diligence, figure out what you're offering, figure out what the area is, do the math, but you can talk to me too about it, and I'll just tell you what I see. If we took $65.86, I want to make this clear, and we divided it by $300 that you get paid per good call. And a good call is like 90 seconds to 120 seconds on the phone. In other words, long enough that if it's actually the right kind of person, it'll turn into a longer call. Probably 10 or 15 minutes by the time they have all the details figured out. 5 anyway. But they have to give themselves a little room to get someone off the phone if it's if the guy misdialed and he's calling for pizza, right? So there's something like a 90 to 120 second window, okay? But then you get paid, okay? So if somebody calls them during their business hours, which if you look, some of these guys are 24/7. So calls can come in whenever the flooding happens, and at night pays better, right? They know that. The companies get paid better when that happens. So if we do that, right, it takes 22 people, 22 payments to break even. Now, if you think 22 payments and you think, what about within a year? And I'm just saying, try to get this idea in your head. 22 within a year? Well, how many weeks are there? 52 weeks. Let's say we set a goal, a different kind of a goal. Let's say our goal when we do the project for you and we go ahead and say, okay, here's what you're coming in for. Here's the area. And so this is the amount that you're conscribing that we have to multiply within a year, like 6 times over. It's our requirement. So what do we have to do? We have to do the math of what it takes to get that to happen. By the way, that's some beautiful money to be locked in for, because if we miss on the first year hitting the goal, you get to keep all that money, but we have to roll you over into the next year for free, and we still have to reset the goal all over again. You get it? So it's within the first 365 days of your payment. If we can't get you that minimum out 6 times over, or whatever the number is in that case, and I'll break that down in a different video, but this is the idea. Then guess what? We have to still pay you 6 times over the next year to get you through the system, or the next year. But it means that if you made 3 times over the first year and you made like 5 times over the second year, you got 8 times over on your money in 2 years. Okay, like 45,000 or something in 2 years, like 22,500 a year raise. Subtract out your 6,500 for those 2 years. It's like a net $19,000 a year raise for the first 2 years, and we still owe you 6 times over on the third year. Is that going to happen? Not anymore. Our goal, by the way, is to get you out real fast. So you know what we'll do? If we're not getting our goal, we are going to add some of the other areas. We're going to push it. We're going to make it happen. Okay? We want you done shortly after you buy, but you're kicking us off to make this thing go, right? And that's good for us because we can move forward with those projects once we get you going. We're able to create extra projects. That acts like an undercurrent safety net for everybody and also gives us room to earn our own profits. Now, having said that, so here's what I want to say. Think about it this way. Let's see if we can do the math this way. What was it? 6586, right? 6586 times, let's say it's 6 over, okay, is like 40K, right? Divided by 300. Boom. 131. Let's divide that for a minute. Let's divide that by how many people would we need per month to make that happen in a year, right? 11 per month? Per month. Oh. How many people then do we need in a week? We're going to divide by 4.3 weeks in a month because it's fair. 2.5 people a week? 3 people a week puts us over? You know what that means? We'll just add more until we nail at least 3 people a week. So that we can make you the minimum. And in your area, if your area is already cutting it, whatever your area is doing for you, you get to keep all of that. So if that area makes you 10 times over in the first year, it's yours. If we have to add extra areas to make sure to pay you out, that's on us. But for every call you get through who came from Jefferson, Alabama, say, or whatever it was, that's yours. And so if that's 10 times over in a year or 20 times over in a year, all that money is yours. Okay? That's cool. Now, having said that, here's the other thing I want to point out. When you do this, what you do is you kind of like apply for a position, tell them what you have in mind, which is create web pages that show up organically for the keywords they're after so that the people landing there from their areas call the phone number to talk to them, and their general purpose websites, so they say in the footer that this is not an independent website. It is a like a dispatch solution, right? And so there's the simple wording. They can even tell you here exactly what to put on there. Most of these offers probably already do. So what's the point though? The point is, once you do that and they give you a phone number, that's what they're going to do. They're going to assign you a phone number. Then we can put the phone number into the web pages. But if you don't, and they should give you real simple, easy tracking mechanisms so that you can keep track of what's going on. I'm sure that'll happen. I don't know much about OfferVault.com, but I do know I've heard of them for a very long time. So I'll bet you that they have really good information so that you can keep track of the calls coming in. If you ever felt like it's not enough information from them, like you're not getting enough stats and you want to second check it, what do? You go to calltrackingmetrics.com or wildfire.com. There are a lot of options for this, and you can sign up. You can go the cheap and easy way, whatever it is. Connect Enterprise. No, what is this? Performance. I guess it's 36. What? Okay. There are going to be cheaper versions of this. Yeah, that's what I should say. But the reason that you might hop up with something like this is That'll cover you for a bunch of recorded calls coming in. These guys will give you a phone number. We'll put this phone number in the web pages. When people call that phone number, it immediately goes through to the other phone number, the one that you were assigned here on OfferVault. But while the person's having that normal conversation with them, it's also recording it at our level, your level inside this account. Okay, simple thing where you would log in and you would see a whole list of the MP4 or MP3s that you can just click on and listen to. It'll tell you how long each one is. It'll tell you where the caller came from in each case, and you can hear the call. You know what that does? Well, it keeps the records clear, doesn't it? There's no way that somebody else can tell you the call wasn't real if the call was real, right? It's just an easy way to go. Do I think that there's going to be a problem there? No. Do I think you need to get this? No. But why am I pointing it out? Maybe you find some other place different than OfferVault where you get some offers there, but you're not sure. Or maybe you want to work with a guy and you want to send him leads. Well, that's what this is for, okay? That you can have a very simple way that both of you can hear the recordings and know that you passed them those leads, these that were good and the other ones that weren't. But the good ones, of course, are the ones that count, right? And that's the way that goes. So all these options are very easy to grab. So what's your plan? Go here, find something that pays out nicely, pays out well, and counterbalance it against different things here. Keep in mind, Decrypt My Leads has things for different offsets. The higher the offset, the more expensive the offer. But you can choose lower offsets and you'll get a lower cost. But that's for tree service. So now you go back here and do a search for like a arborist, right? Or tree service. Okay, nothing there. Tree service, nothing there. Let's just try tree. Maybe nothing at all, right? And yeah, nothing for tree. Okay, we'll choose something else. I mean, there are a lot of things here, right? What about towing? You know, what about towing? So there you go, towing, right? Oh, there's them. It's just to like $240 that they'll pay out. I don't know. I find that too low, right? So who knows? Maybe what you really want to do is just take the search part out, right? Clear the searches, all right? And just start at the high end. Work your way down, see what you like, and then make your project based on that, okay? That's amazing. All right, I hope you find that interesting. And by the way, if you don't have the budget for something in here and you say, well, I still want to give it a shot and see how far I can get, okay, but then we don't owe you, right? This is bigger because it's rights and responsibility. It's like more you pay, the more we're required to do on your behalf, okay? But if you say, I'm going to start here, get the website going, I want to see it, I want to be able to monkey with it myself, maybe you can log into the admin panel and make changes and see what you can do. And then we're also creating the backlinking for you, which are other sites pitching you as well, right? And that's what you're doing here and here, here and here. Just be realistic about how big you need to go to catch up with the big boys who've been putting often hundreds of thousands a year into keeping on top, or tens of thousands anyway. So we're going to rise fast because we're powerful. But if you force us into a rising too low on something that has a lot of competition, that competition tends to outrank us speed-wise just because there are so many of them pounding fresh content out every single day and they're trusted by Google already, right? So be realistic. So either you're coming in here and you're tweaking your way up and you're poking holes in the ceiling and you're digging your way up and you're raising your funds so that you can go in bigger, or step in bigger because you can and you want to lock into something more protected. How's that? Either way, it's awesome. We're at a point where the world's going to change. We're creating top quality content on top quality websites, on top quality servers, and the websites self-monitor to maximize the conversions. And I just gave you a way that's even easier than ClickBank with a hop link, although you can do ClickBank with a hop link, but a way to kind of like watch and evaluate and get paid healthy chunks of money up front for things you do. So this is different than trying to pitch that next weight loss formula against everyone else's. Does that mean that that's a bad idea? No. ClickBank has their measurables, their gravity and everything else. So if you know how to read that stuff, right? If you get it, go that route. If you want to do this, go that route. It's all open. Everything is open. See what you want to do. But there you go. I'm giving you options. If you need to, give me a call. We can talk over your ideas. Okay. And my phone number, as you know, you probably know, because I'm always pointing it out. Do 616-834-6552, right? If you're outside the U.S., just Skype me at WMS for Website Marketing Solutions, Dave. Okay? And there you go. That's how you get a hold of me. Get a hold of Dave at. There you go. All right. Looking forward to getting you on a roll. And yeah, we still got the real estate thing going on. That's getting crazy. We've got the RoofMax thing going on. That's coming back up. Those guys had to deal with flooding to get back on top of stuff. But they're just about back into it. And we'll get rolling with them. That's because the hurricane went through Florida, right? That's where the RoofMax thing is that we opened up right in the middle of it. The whole town got flooded out. But that's okay. And the rest of what we're doing is moving at light speed. So you've got so many options, big and small and in the middle. I don't even know what to say. Just go and explore them, right? Website-installer.com, right? Explore that. Go to the super affiliate sites, right? The videos are old. I got to update those. Be aware of that. And then on decryptmyleads.com, hit claim this position and choose something from here. Higher offset costs more, lower offset costs less. Just think about the value of a thing. TV repair. Who has TVs anymore? That's like antique collectors, right? So yeah, it doesn't cost much, but that's because there's like next to no competition, right? There's not much money in that. So just be aware of that. I mean, I'm sure if somebody needs a transistor bulb, they're willing to spend $500 for it because they're a collector with their TV, right? Antique dealer or whatever, or just they just want it for themselves. So, you know, you'll probably get a few sales over the year, and yeah, it'll probably be profitable. But again, that's profitable versus $823, right? As opposed to something bigger that has a lot more draw, a lot more traffic on a daily or weekly basis. Okay, I think that's clear. All right, I'll talk to you later. Can't wait to see you get going. Let me know what you're doing. If you got a question, give me a call. We'll get you on a roll. You can always call and say, Dave, here's my budget. What should I do? We'll figure that out quick because it's kind of my job. Figuring out what we should do at best with your budget. My way of explaining it always is this. The lower your budget, I mean, this is like kickoff, right? But then once we get the basis done, the foundation laid of your project, whatever it is, then expansion gets easier and easier and easier for every next little bit of money that you can put in. So this is the hardest part down here. But then as you add to it, whatever you can, right, then we can go so much bigger because you gave us the room. Okay, I think that's clear. All right, looking forward to seeing you get on a roll. Give me a call if you need to. Take care.